Hi Facebook. Hi YouTube.
Stop. Stop. That's creepy.
Hello everybody.
Oh, I moved you out of the...
Oh no.
It's always so...
So, like, you want me to move like that?
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Waiting just a second for people to get on and then we will go ahead and begin. Appreciate everybody joining us. Excellent. We'll go ahead and get started. So, welcome to Housing Debrief episode 19 on the 19th. My background, quantitative economics, decision sciences major from UC San Diego. 29 years in the business, Orange County native, Capitol Valley High School grad, 9 kids, and I'm an avid runner. And I brought 6. My wife brought 2. I adopted hers, she adopted mine. We had this bonus guy, he's in the middle of potty training. Everybody's kind of getting the routine here. But I do that so that if you show a client, you can, it shows that I've been doing this for a while. This kid came home, Kyler. Yes, he's home right now. He's going, what's for dinner tonight? I mean, seriously, this kid is living the hog life. There he is, coming home, bringing all of his stuff. Welcome home, Kyler. He's graduated from WSU. And we took this picture, so he's part of our quarantine clan here at the Thomas compound. And there we all are. This was taken just a few days ago because look at those bougainvilleas. Awesome, huh? Really pretty. So that's why we took the picture. Anyhow, my background is I've been giving my stuff to the Orange County Register, and subsequently I've been all over the place. And I have a company called Reports on Housing, and it's just the local real estate snapshot that takes, I dissect the markets of Orange County, Los Angeles, San Diego, Riverside, and San Bernardino counties, and I have a housing report geared for each of those. And it's not like just stats and graphs and nerdy stuff like that. I actually try to explain what's going on in the marketplace, giving anecdotes that are easy to understand and follow, so that it mirrors kind of what we're seeing out in the marketplace. Speaking of the marketplace, you're going to read about closed sales data. I don't even want to put it in here because March closed sales data, or actually April closed sales data, didn't look good. And we knew that it wouldn't look good. May will probably look a little bit better, but it'll still be really off. So April and May, you take a mix of the two, and they will not be as solid as what we've seen for many months prior. So, but that is part of demand falling like it did. So instead, I don't like to focus on closed sales data because you can't really plan going forward based upon closed sales data. As a matter of fact, the median sales price could roll down a little bit, and that's because the upper end shut off a little bit more than the lower end. And that's typically what happens when things grind to a complete halt. So I like to look out the windshield, and out the windshield is the active listing inventory, supply, and demand. That's the last 30 days of pending sales and under contract sales. I refer to that as the velocity of the market. And from that, I can tell you what the expected market time is. Place your home on the market today. When are you going to go into escrow? And I break it down not only by county, but by city, by price range, by attached versus detached. And it's all about setting expectations, because I think that that's the best way for us to operate, is to have real data and facts to go forward. And here are all the different Southern California housing reports. And the one that just came out last night, and San Diego will get theirs any moment now, if not right now. Matt's working hard at the office. V-shaped recovery is the latest one that came out. So this is Orange County, LA, and San Diego. Orange County and LA get theirs on Monday. San Diego gets theirs on Tuesday. And we send it all out. And this is the latest one called V-shaped recovery. And we'll get into exactly why I refer to it as the V-shaped recovery. I kind of alluded to it last Friday. Hey, Mason, can you do me a favor and can you shut that window? Yes, we have a window in our studio. You can hear it, it's starting to get breezy. I can hear it coming through. A little distracting. Anyhow, thank you very much, buddy. I really appreciate it. Somebody's typically sitting on the couch listening to Dad talk about housing and all that good stuff. So you go to reportsonhousing.com and you click on subscribe and check out all this. We've got sample reports, and it's $15 per month or $150 per year. I mean, you might as well not eat fast food, eat another pot of spaghetti, and get this report on a monthly basis, right? And you get a month free if you sign up using the coupon code COUPON. And for those of you like me that are challenged, it's COUPON, coupon. So my sponsor today is Raincross Escrow. They're your neighborhood escrow company, and they're a true independent escrow company, and you and your clients matter. You are not just an escrow, I should say number, but you are not just another escrow, not another escrow number, and friendly, professional, knowledgeable staff. And you can, they're in Brea, and they can be reached at 714-924-3395. That's Raincross Escrow, and we want to thank them for their sponsorship. So let's get into some spring fun photos. We have spring fun photos. This one. Quarantine got you down? Neighborhood Scream, Friday at 5 p.m. Who can scream the loudest? I think this is fun. I think we should all do this. I'm all for that. Me, Alexa, what's the weather going to be today? Alexa, why? Where do you think you're going? Oh, you see her? Yeah, Alexa's off on the back. Sorry, Alexa off. She's behind me, she heard me. Relative importance in 2020 so far, coffee. Actually, coffee for me has gone up a little bit. Car, yes. Our cars are all dusty. One of the cars wasn't really even working because it was just sitting there for so long. I had to jump it. That's pretty funny. Internet's going up. Alcohol. Toilet paper. And now it's not that much of a necessity. You can find it. Zoom property showings. I guess that's great. My zombie preparedness plan isn't so funny now, is it? Mm-hmm. How about this lady? You know what this is? This is when you get one of those mattress covers and that's that plastic box. Look what she made. She's shopping. Everybody needs masks. She's not going to get COVID-19. And how about this one? You honk, we drink. I think I know what I'm doing tomorrow. Isn't that a fun game? Reminds me of college days. The Southern California market. Let's dive in. This showdown between supply versus demand. And demand is starting to totally increase, and it's no longer that much of a showdown. Now, is it? COVID-19 is suppressing supply. I've got the latest numbers as of today, and this is where we are. It was last Thursday, 31,430. That was up 2% in 2 weeks, and the 5-year average change was up 2%. Last year, we were at 43,512. That's 38% more. But that's diminishing because it was a lot more prior. And you can see it's diminishing quite a bit. So, and that will continue to diminish going forward. 2007 is 115,000. That's nearly 4 times where we are today. That harkens back to May 2013. Actually, today we're at 31,587. That's up 0.5% since last Thursday. So we're going up, but we're just not going up that clip like demand is. And actually, I'm looking at this. I think I was referring to the demand curve. This is kind of the same. You can see there really isn't that much of a change. We're following the pattern of last year. Last year was a lot more than the prior years, but we're actually less than the prior years. The last time we had this view was back in 2013. And if you look at the active inventory in LA, it's up 1.6% since just last Thursday. And in Orange County, it's up 2.2% since last Thursday, so a few more homes coming on the market. Riverside County is down 1.4%, and San Bernardino County is down 0.6%. And San Diego County is down 0.4%. So you can see there's not a lot of change. Orange County up 2.2%. I haven't done the breakdown of what that is. Typically, as we get more homes that come on over a weekend, we tend to place a lot of those in escrow. We'll have to see what it looks like by the end of this week. The number of new for sale signs in the past 4 weeks compared to the 5-year average of homes placed on the market is actually, it's down 36% compared to the 5-year average. But remember, this was like 49%. So you can see this number starting to drop, and as more and more sellers start coming on the market. But more sellers are coming on the market, not at the same clip that demand is hitting the market. So demand's actually outpacing the climb in inventory right now. And so we have a supply problem, and it's versus this poor little girl. And we have a slide that somebody did for us. I think it's fantastic. You'll see it in a moment. But demand problem is with COVID-19, we couldn't buy her lemonade at first. So let's see if we can figure out a way of buying it. COVID-19 is suppressing demand. Absolutely has been. But things have totally changed, and demand is waking up. That's because the United States housing stock is extremely strong. This is not harking to the days of the Great Recession and how bad that housing stock was and how bad lending was. And the whole thing was just a house of cards that was so easy for it to collapse. Or I compare it to the Three Little Pigs, and it's the house made out of hay. Super easy to blow down, especially this thing was just barely put together. So that's what led to the Great Recession. But then we have demand, and you look at this looks like a letter. What letter of the alphabet does that look like? It's kind of looking like a V, isn't it? So last Thursday we were at 12,450. That was up 41% in 2 weeks. So that's what I take. I take a 2-week snapshot. So over 14 days. That's an extra 3,611 escrows in 2 weeks. That's quite a big change. So you can see that's where we got this climb. We had this initial climb. We saw demand was waking up, and then boom, all of a sudden this zoom. And that's the difference between this year and last year. Last year we were at 16,828. That's 36% more, or 38% more rather. And the last time we had demand like this was the beginning of February. But look at this today. 13,160. That's up 6% compared to just last Thursday. So that's what, 5 days? 5 days we saw an increase of 6%. So you can see demand is continuing to zoom at a pretty high rate. So if we even double that out after 10 days, you're at a 12% increase. So by the time we get to 2 weeks, we're looking at another big increase, and it could be as much as, I'm going to say, between 16 and 20%. Not quite the 41%, but we'll have to see. We'll just have to see with the number of homes coming on the market. So what do we have? We have a V-shaped recovery. That's what this is looking like. It's looking like a V-shaped recovery. And only in housing. We're not going to see this in a whole bunch of different industries as things come back online. It's just not going to be that quick. However, it is that quick in housing, and that is because of the strength of housing going in. I talked about the real limited supply of homes on the market. And yes, we could get really low demand, but as soon as demand starts coming on with very limited supply, that's a recipe for things heating up pretty fast. And that's what we've seen so far. So in Southern California, with the different counties, LA County is up 40%. That was the 2-week period up to last Thursday was up 40%. But since last Thursday to today, it's up another 6%. And for Orange County, up 38%. Up 5% since last Thursday. Riverside County up 50%, up 7% since last Thursday. San Bernardino County is up 37%, up 6% since last Thursday. And then we have San Diego County up 37%, up 6% since last Thursday. So, and then let's see what's happening with the expected market time. Well, when you get that U-shaped recovery, we're getting this upside down U-shaped recovery in expected market time. So the expected market time is dropping just as swift because we have the inventory only rising slightly and the supply and demand rising like crazy. And with that is this big tug on the expected market time. So for all those people that look at average days on market, I am not at all a fan of days on market, not at all. Instead, I like to follow, and this is why I even created all of this expected market time, because what we're seeing is a real reality, a true feeling of what's going on right now in the marketplace is expected market time. So expected market time is dropping pretty fast, and it's dropping a lot faster than days on market or anything you can follow on days on market. And so this is where we are right now. SoCal last Thursday was at a 76-day expected market time, and SoCal 2 weeks prior was at 105 days. And then SoCal last year was at 76 days, so it's even. You're wondering, how can that be? How can it be the same velocity if there's demand is so much less than where it was last year? Well, the reason for that is because inventory is so much less than it was last year, besides demand, and the drop is nearly equal, so that creates this balance between this year and last year. So 76-day expected market time and a 76-day expected market time. But take into consideration today's inventory and today's demand, and check this out, we're hotter than last year right now in Southern California. It's at a 72-day expected market time. So if you look at that, and we start comparing counties, look at LA County is now at 84 days as of right now. That's down 2 since last Thursday. Orange County is at 86 days, down 4 since last Thursday. Riverside County is at 68 days. That's down 5 since last Thursday. San Bernardino County is at 61 days, down 5 since last Thursday. And that is knocking on the door of a hot seller's market. Hot seller's market is 60 days or below. Seller's market's between 60 and 90. The lower you get in days on market, the hotter the market. Like I think I did a presentation today, it was in Rancho Santa Margarita, and there's an expected market time of, gosh, I want to say about 28 days for Rancho Santa Margarita. That is a hot market. So if you get something that's priced right and is like right around $700,000 detached in Rancho Santa Margarita, you can expect a lot of activity. San Diego County right now just reached 60 days. It dropped 3 since last Thursday. San Bernardino and San Diego, looks like they're going to duke it out. We'll have to see who wins this. San Diego usually wins and is most dominant of all 5, and they lead everybody typically, but San Bernardino is on their heels right now. And at 60 days, they're entering the hot zone. They're actually a hot seller's market, and I'll show you that in a second what that means. So for all those people that are thinking it's a buyer's market or should be buyer's market, COVID-19 means buyer's market, that's not necessarily because of all the other numbers that are bad. That's not necessarily what happens. Nope, it's not a buyer's market, and it's no longer a balanced market anywhere in Southern California. Instead, we have, and here's the slide. How about that? Jeremy Mills, I absolutely appreciate him getting me this slide. This is our lemonade stand, and if you look at this, look at that. Isn't that fantastic? I wanted a slide with COVID-19, social distancing, wearing masks and gloves, and here we are. So this is my slide for a slight seller's market, because the last one I had, they were too close together. So that is pretty cool. It is a slight seller's market, and so the California, this is the expected market time. Where are we headed? We're headed down, and we're headed down to even below in the hot seller's market. There's going to be a few markets that make it into hot seller's market. We see that it's already going to happen in San Diego, San Bernardino. We might get it Riverside. LA and Orange County are a little bit late to that party, but the further down they get in slight seller's market, towards the 60-day mark, the hotter they will be as well. They just won't be as hot as San Diego and San Bernardino right now. So I said no, and it looks like this market has proven me wrong. There are not a whole heck of a lot of sellers coming to the market, and that is creating this extra heat in the marketplace, especially in the counties that I mentioned. So when you get into those hot sellers market, you get into Rancho Santa Margarita, that's where you cast your net out and you're fishing, and you get multiple offers. You get more than one fish. For like LA and Orange County, as well as some price ranges, and you guys all know what those price ranges are, and I'll get into that in a second, but it's more like fishing. So you can fish by throwing your net out and getting a whole bunch of buyers, but That's a hot seller's market where you get multiple offers. But when you only get one offer, if you have the right price and you have to wait a little bit, there's a 60, if I say it, like for Orange County, they're in the 80s for the expected market time at 86 days or whatever it is. That is a long time before you place your home into escrow. So from coming on the market to going into escrow, you still have to be patient. You have to have the right bait, you have to have the right price, you have to have all the bells and whistles. Everything has to look nice for when they do finally come through. It has to have all the virtual tours and everything that needs to happen in this kind of a marketplace, and then you have to pack your patience in that tackle box. Low mortgage rate environment is where we're at right now, and I've talked about it before. It's the jet fuel that's propelling us forward. And mortgage rates are 3 weeks in a row of record historical low mortgage rates, and we'll have to see where this Thursday pans out. But I think there's enough pressure. We're going to start to see interest rates come down a little bit. That's just a wild guess right now, because the underpinnings of the of lending, they're a little bit broken, so it's kind of hard to forecast exactly where rates are going to be. And then we've got this is my menu that I put together a couple housing reports back. And you remember how ugly this thing was for LA and many of them. San Diego is the only one that had a lot of green, and now look, the green's coming back. This is LA, and I did this right before coming on air, and really it just shows you that below 750, it's a hot seller's market in LA. And 750 to million is now a slight seller's market, so everything below $1 million. And then you got 1 to 1.25 is now balanced, and then it starts to slow at 1.25 to 1.5, and then 1.5 is actually their luxury market. You can see it starts to really slow. And I had this discussion in an office meeting. When I call these buyers markets, I just mean that it's really lopsided compared to the number of buyers and sellers. It doesn't mean that there's massive price reductions in this area, because in the luxury price range, these are the ranges that are always lopsided in favor of the buyers. However, prices are very, very sticky in the luxury ranges, because sellers don't really have to sell. A lot of times they just want to see if I can get what I need and where I need to go, then I'll do it. That's the kind of an attitude that you got in luxury. So it's completely different, totally different psychological game that's played in the upper ranges. So what you have to understand, though, is that it just means how lopsided it is. When you've got these ranges here at 4 million and 6 million plus where they're nearing 1,000, that's just really slow. And we saw it a lot less at the beginning of March. But I will tell you, all of these numbers are improving as well as these numbers. So it's just taking a little bit longer. The luxury repair job is going to take a bit longer. And then you can see attached, the hottest ranges are below 750. In Orange County, it's below $1 million. Everything's hot. $1 million to 1.5 is now balanced. This was in red. And then above here, it slows. And then 0 to 250, there's hardly any in Orange County. These are the studios and condos, and that's balanced. 250 to 750 is where the meat of the market is. And then for Riverside County, everything below 650, which is everything above 650 is luxury. And you can see the hottest ranges are between 300 and 500. And attached for Riverside County, 0 to 300 is slight sellers, then it's balanced, and then it slows above that. We've got San Bernardino, it's everything below 650, and it's quite hot, 2 to 300. This 300 to 400, I expect in the next couple weeks for it to mirror these others and be in the hot range. And then above 650 is balanced, and then 8 to 1 million starts slowing down. And then below $500,000 is a slight seller's market, as you see here. So San Diego, they're the hottest out of all of them. And below this is 36-day expected market time, 5 to 750 for all of San Diego County. They were hotter for a while, even early. So you could see this really heated up, and this is absolutely phenomenally hot. So just know that it's hottest between 5 to 750 and 750 to millions, pretty hot. And then 1 million to 1.5 million is actually a slight seller's market, detached, and 0 to 5 is a slight seller's market, and then 0 to 500 on attached. So that gives you the whole menu of across the board. And let's get into coronavirus numbers. And then I have something else to talk about too. But the coronavirus numbers, we're right now at, and this was as of this morning, I didn't feel like even updating this, 4.8 million with 319,000 deaths. And the recovery number is not, people aren't reporting recovery. So those are the only metrics that actually are statistically valid. And then you look at the world, and you can see that we've hit a plateau. There are a lot of countries that are coming down, but there are a lot of countries that are new to the ball game and are totally rising. One of those being Russia. I've talked about that. This is United States. We're at 1.5 million. Something that we need to point out is LA is now the 4th most impacted county in the U.S. and is about to become the 3rd. And that's where it will stay. I don't think it's going to pass Cook County, Illinois. But so LA, there's a bit of an issue, and Newsom was even pointing out LA in his talk about reopening things at yesterday's news conference. And then you can see United States, you can kind of feel that it's coming down a little bit. And it does show it when you take a 7-day moving average. And this is this awesome site that was created by a bunch of computer engineers that just geeked out on the numbers. Thank you very much, geeks. I appreciate you, from geek to geek. And then what you see is that we are coming down slowly but surely, but it's just not as fast, because we're kind of like the United States of America. So we have this hodgepodge way that we're all going about things. So things aren't kind of getting a lot better as fast as some other countries that are able to really make sure that everybody is behaving themselves, or there are repercussions. From what I understand, like if there was China where you would be jailed if you were found out about that type of thing. So COVID-19, where daily death tolls are the highest, you could see across the board the death tolls are starting to come down. This is the United States. Death tolls kind of mirrors the active cases, how it's coming down, but it's coming down, which is we've already peaked and we're on the way down. They think it'll be we'll be in a much better shape by the time we get through August, or get to the start of August. And you can see this is this U.S. COVID-19 testing. Testing is super duper important. We want to get to this threshold of being below 5%. For California, their threshold is they want to at least be below 8% positive tests compared to all the tests taken. Otherwise, you're just taking tests of people that you think have it, otherwise move on. And I know that even in California locally a few weeks ago, that's what they were doing. So hopefully we've moved past that, and in order to open up, that's what you have to do as a county for California. So we hit that 4.5%, which was really awesome, but they think that the data was a little tainted because it was more than just regular tests. It was the antibody test that they were including in there. They fixed that, and you can see it kind of jump back up. But then it came down to 5%. It's a little bit higher yesterday. So we're getting there. We're not quite there, but we're almost there as a country. I want to see the United States get below 5% so that we're doing enough testing of a lot of different people so that we really start seeing where this thing's at. And the COVID-19 testing capacity compared to other countries, Italy's number 1. Russia actually came on, and they're testing like nobody's business, and that's because they have a real problem there. So they're testing quite a bit. And this is the number of tests per 1,000 inhabitants. This is most important, not gross number of tests, but how many tests are you doing per 1,000 inhabitants? And you can see where Germany came on the scene, and they really nailed it really fast. They did a ton of tests at first. And the United States, it took us a while to get there. We were ramping up to get to that. And we've surpassed the United Kingdom. We've even surpassed South Korea. But South Korea does not need to do the test because they went like this and then flattened. And then they do tests when there are problems that are out there. And France, they also have a handle on it. Like South Korea, they're that gold standard. And I talked about this last week, how there was this one guy in the bar. See this? And then it's already come back down. So there was this little increase and it came back down. And what that little increase is what we're going to be doing. And that's where you kind of have a fire over here where one person went bar hopping because they opened up bars and he infected 119 people by going to 5 different bars. Then they had to test 7,200 people, that type of thing. And then they closed down bars again. So you cannot go to bars because of this one dude wasn't being cautious. So we're learning from all that stuff. We'll learn from what other countries do, but we'll be following those leads. California has 81,800 cases, and this is LA is number 1 with nearly 40,000 cases. Riverside County and San Diego County, both number 2 and number 3, almost at 6,000 cases. Orange County surpassed 4,000. They're almost at 4,500 cases, and now San Bernardino's at 3,600. These are the top 5 counties in all of California as far as how impacted these counties are. So there's quite a bit of coronavirus here, but it's nothing like some of the other areas like New Jersey, where they're really dense and their numbers actually surpassed where we were at. So when do we open everything up? Well, Americans worried about opening up too quickly. This is actually good, which means we're going to be cautious, which means families, as things open up, are going to come up with game plans, because 51% of everybody is worried that we're going to open up too quickly. They don't think it's happening in their state. They think it's happening in other states. It's about the right speed, 25% and 37%. So you can see the vast majority thinks that it's either right at the right speed or it's too quickly. So I think we're just going to use our common sense going forward, which is really good. And Newsom, there's a California update. He did this yesterday, had this news conference, I think it was inside of a restaurant. Newsom relaxes the standards. He had these standards that are like, you can't have deaths for like 2 weeks, and counties were going, we're just going to be stuck in lockdown mode forever. And they changed things because they started to see the number of deaths coming down across the state anyhow, is what was said. The counties can apply for a state approval of opening up early. And how they apply for it is, here's how they get that county variance. No more than 25 people per 100,000 test positive. No more than 25 people per 100,000 come on per week is what it is. And this, they'll do the math for us. And I looked for quite a few places where you could actually monitor this by county. You can't really find it. You have to do all the numbers yourself, and I didn't have the time to do it. Or a positive test rate of less than 8%. So it's numbers of cases that has to be down at a certain level, and a positive rate of less than 8%. So which means you have to do a ton of testing so you can get a positive rate of 8% or less. Or it's actually less than 8%, 7.9% or less. So, and like I said, where I'd like for us to be is 5% or less, and that just means you're testing the adequate number of people so that people feel a lot more secure about going out anyways. So they also must have no higher than a 5% increase in, I lopped it off, hospitalizations. So that's very important. There it is, 5% increase in hospitalizations over a 1 week period. So they're watching hospitalizations, number of new coronavirus cases for the population, as well as tests. So those are the kind of things that we can do to unlock the county. And everybody's getting extremely close to these numbers anyhow. So which means that in a few weeks we should be there. And so what they're even talking about is sports in June with no spectators. And they're talking about church in June with social distancing. And they're talking about haircuts in June. Thank you very much. And they're talking about in-restaurant dining coming up in June with proper protocols and percentage of normal occupancy, something like that. There'll be guidance. And then shopping in malls coming up. At least we can get our exercise, right? Running around a mall. So the macroeconomic outlook is this. We have the after the disease data, all looks negative. This is retail. I've talked about this before, that the U.S. retail sales dropped to the lowest level since 2012 amid lockdown. So 2012 was prior to us totally ramping up and the beginning of the expansion years. And instead of buying things, we're saving. So I want everybody to know that this is important to everybody, because GDP is a big portion, or consumption is a big portion of GDP. So we're going to continue to watch these numbers, and hopefully as things open up that we will start to consume like nobody's business, because nobody can consume like America. And I wanted to bring this up because I saw somebody do a YouTube video on this somebody that I follow, and I thought it was fantastic, so I wanted to share it. And it's, if you remember back at the beginning of April, everybody was talking about this. This was the big headlines. Nearly a third of U.S. apartment renters didn't pay April rent. And it's just how rent works anyways, and especially how this last April worked, because that was Easter weekend. And people that paid on Monday didn't get lopped in that first initial read. So if they paid over the weekend, which is a holiday weekend, and they got it in on Monday, that didn't count in that initial read, which is why the numbers were so down. So I go to this National Multifamily Housing Council website that does a rent payment tracker. And in that, when I blow it up, it was at 78% of rent payments were made by the week ending April 6th. So we understand that because that Sunday, then the following Monday, everybody started paying. And then it moved to 85% of rent paid was paid for April's payment by the 13th. And then by the time it got to the end of the month, it was at 94.6%. So 94.6% made their payment for the month of April. That's not what anybody had heard out there. And in looking at 2019, it was at 97.7% made their payment by the end of April 2019. So it went from 97.7% to 94.6%. So that is a drop from last year, but the drop is down 3% year over year. So yes, it's negatively affecting it. You're going, wait, how can that be? Well, and also for May so far, as of May 13th, we're at 87.7% of all rent has been paid. And if you look at where we were in April compared to May, we're actually, there's more on-time payments than there was even in the month of April. So May is doing actually better than April. And you're wondering, how can that be? Well, this is from the New York Times. They did this tracker, and what they show you is that this is all the people that are on unemployment. These are the people that are actually making more on unemployment in these states actually make more on unemployment than these other states. But pretty much when you get to Indiana, that's where it's like break even. They're making the same after on unemployment than they were before with wages. So you can see with that extra paycheck of what, $600 per week, it's making everybody whole. California's on this. We're just to the left of 100%. But it's like at 93% or something like that. I couldn't quite gauge it because they wouldn't let you move what the dial was. But you could see that that is a pretty good number. It's making everybody whole. So on the most part, everybody's making just about the same amount that they were prior on unemployment. So what does that mean? They're able to make their rent payments, which is why the rent is up at where it's at right now. So I just wanted everybody to see that because I have so many people talking to me about all the number of people that aren't paying, and this makes sense as to why so many people are paying and are not skipping out on the payments, and that's because they're being made whole with this unemployment. That is all of the congressional bills that were designed to bridge the gap between the start of COVID to the end of COVID, not to the end of COVID, but to when we unlock. And they're having a problem. They're going to wait a few weeks for this next one that they just talked about that the House of Representatives put out and Pelosi was talking about. Well, the reason for that is because it's almost like this wait and see as to how the economy responds, and if needed, that they will dial up something else where there will be added benefits until we get completely out of the woods. So the United States Congress is willing to do what they need to do to bridge the gap, but they're kind of taking a wait and see for this next installment that I think they're still going to have to do it though, but it may take a few weeks before they really start talking about it. So people are asking me, when is it going to recover? And I say it is up to COVID-19. I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows. And it's all how it all plays out. So we be mindful and we do the right things, play our cards right, and everything will be good on the other end. So go to reportsonhousing.com, subscribe to my housing report. Go to facebook.com/reportsonhousing. Give me some good feedback there as well. I'd really appreciate that. If anybody could do that, that would be a big help. And hit the subscribe button at reportsonhousing.com. And you get a month free if you sign up using the coupon code COUPON, COUPON, I think it's coupon. I don't even know how to, coupon. I don't know. I have to look that one up. I'm going to have to ask my wife after this. So you can get frequently asked questions and sample reports sections. You can see all the different reports, what they look like, and how I'm talking to your clients to let them know exactly what's going on today so they can make the right decisions and properly set their expectations. And I just want to say thank you very much, Raincross Escrow. They're your neighborhood escrow company. They're a true independent escrow company. You and your clients matter. You are not just another escrow. You're not just an escrow number. They're friendly, professional, knowledgeable staff. They're right there in Brea, and their number is 714-924-3395. That's 714-924-3395. Thank you so much, Rain Cross Escrow, for your sponsorship. Appreciate it. And that's all I have for today. I'm not going to do the Q&A. I'll look to see what was in the feed. I saw some questions coming in, but I'll answer those offline. I won't be doing a Q&A this Friday. I do them like every other week. The what do we call it? Happy hour and Q&A, or Q&A and happy hour. That's thanks to Lisa Dunn and her brilliant idea of doing it. So it's a lot of fun to do every once in a while. So I'll answer in your feed. I appreciate you all being there. Thank you very much. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, and we'll see you on Friday. Thanks much.